Hello everyone, welcome back to the Riverwood Aquatics YouTube channel. So yeah, it's been quite a long time since I've done a video, so I thought it was about time I pulled my finger out and got one out for you guys. So this time we're going to be looking at this 90cm Aquascape that's been running in the shop now for 3 or 4 months, something like that. So I'll take you through the equipment and the plants used, and then I'll do a little bit of maintenance on it, show you how I trim it and keep it looking nice. So let's get started. Right, so when I started planning this scape, what I wanted to do was try and have a similar sort of impact to some of the competition scapes you see. So really bold hardscape. Obviously I wanted to keep it nature aquarium style still, but I wanted to have it sort of impactful planting and impactful hardscape. So it's just got that sort of wow factor. I think I've achieved it. Obviously it's not to the standard of the like the competition scapes that you see, but we're getting there. Maybe the next one will be, who knows. So yeah, today I'm just going to do some maintenance on it. I've got to clean the glass. Obviously I've got a calcium build up here. I've got algae on the glass as well, which you can't really see, there's not much, but obviously better to keep on top of it. I'm going to trim some of the plants, certainly the ones at the back, the Hemianthus micranthomoides pearlweed. I've got this lovely sort of curved bush shape there, so once a week I do trim that to maintain that shape. Yeah, big water change, clear up the gravel here, so I'll siphon off all this bits of soil that's sort of fallen down onto that over the course of the week. Got shrimps in there and they move soil about, so yeah, it's to be expected really, but keep on top of it and not a problem. So yeah, but first I'll take you through the equipment on the tank. Right, so let's have a look at the lights first. They are the Kessel. We'll have a look at the lights, so we'll start at the top and work our way down, and yeah, I'll show you what equipment we've got. Kessel A160WE tuner suns, really nice quality LEDs, give you that lovely shimmer under the water. You've got some surface agitation on there, really nice effect. Some people don't like it, I love it, I think it looks really natural. That's on the Evolution Aqua hanging kits. At the moment I don't think they're available, but really soon hopefully they'll be back. Yeah, I've put this bit of vine on here. Again, I've had mixed opinions online about whether people like this or not. I quite like it, but I might remove it soon just for a bit of a change. Yeah, so we've got the stainless steel lily pipe set in and out. We've got the skimmer on there to keep the surface crystal clear. Also they come with like a little bracket, and it's quite handy for keeping your scissors in. So yeah, the aquarium itself is the Evolution Aqua Aquascape 900, so 900mm long. Really nice quality aquarium. Okay, so let's go into the cabinet. Okay, so in the cabinet, apart from mess, we have a Awazi Biomaster Thermo 600. Excellent filter. I'm sure you've all sort of heard of this one and seen it before. It's got the removable pre-filter, which is really simple to keep the filter clean. You just pull it out, squeeze the sponges. I mean, a lot of people would say you can even run them under the tap, because you don't really need to save that small amount of bacteria that's in there, because everything is inside there. You've got the built-in heater as well, so that keeps the inside of the tank clear, so you can have just the heater locked away inside the filter, so it's really neat and tidy. I don't think there's anything on the other side. An old high door filter, which will get some use at some point, because that's a really good filter as well, but at the moment it's disconnected. And also we've got the CO2 going in there, so that's the inline CO2 art diffuser. Probably needs a bit of a clean. I'll do that probably in the next week or two, but at the moment still getting decent amount of diffusion from that. So yeah, let's have a look at the CO2. Okay, quick look at the CO2. I'm just running a CO2 Art Pro SE regulator on a 5kg fire extinguisher. Obviously need to fill up the bubble counter there. You will eventually lose some water in that through evaporation. Some people like to use an oil in there. I prefer to keep it clean and tidy just with water, but it just means filling it up every now and again. It's no big issue. Yeah, it's got the solenoid there, so you can just plug it into a timer plug and it can click on and off automatically. Yeah, really good and reliable regulator, dual stage. Okay, so before we get into the water change and the maintenance, I thought I'd just point out some of the plants and livestock and substrate and things that I've got inside the tank. So right at the back, to create that big mound at the back, I've got JBL volcano mineral, which is basically just crushed lava rock. It's really good for making depth at the back of your substrate. It's great for beneficial bacteria and things like that. So if you need something that's going to create height at the back to give you that really good sense of perspective, then yeah, volcano mineral is a really good option. So yeah, I've got that in the back, and then over the top of that I've got Tropica aquarium soil. Really good soil, can't really go wrong with it, to be fair. I did add some root tabs in there as well, some TNC plugs. So right at the start I just push them right down to the bottom of the soil, and that's just going to give your roots a bit of extra feeding as they go. Don't need them really, but I've found the plant growth in this has been really good, even though I've been dosing very lean on the ferts. I'll show you the ferts a bit later on after I've done the water change. So yeah, we've got at the front here, we've got my Chrysanthemum Monte Carlo carpet. It's carpeted really well. The growth isn't really fast because I'm lean dosing the ferts, but it's really healthy. And in the sides here, mixed in with that, we've got some Eleocharis mini dwarf hairgrass. So going a bit further back, we've got this Crypt Petrii pink. The Crypt Petrii tends to stay a bit smaller, so that was ideal for this, and it creates that kind of transition from the carpet to the hardscape. Okay, so on the hardscape we've got Anubias petite, quite a lot of that. A lot of this I took out of an old scape, so it was already quite mature, but you could easily just get a small pot, place it where you want, and obviously it takes time to grow. It's quite a slow grower, but before you know it, you'll have a big rhizome full of leaves. We've also got Bucophilandra. I think most of the Bucophilandra in this is Kedagang from Tropica. What else we got? So this plant here is Hygrophila pinnatifida. I've also got it on this side here. Quite a fast growing epiphyte plant. What I've done here, I try and keep it trimmed regularly, so the leaves are nice and small, because once Hygrophila pinnatifida starts going, it gets quite big. So if you just remove the bigger leaves, then you can get this nice sort of compact growth of it. There's a few bits here which I obviously will be trimming today, so it's got a bit long. And then going further back, we've got this very striking bush effect in the back, which is Hemianthus micranthomoides. Pearlweed is a common name. So yeah, that's quite a reasonably low growing sort of mid-ground plant, but if you plant it quite densely, you can trim it into a nice shape, almost like garden topiary. You can create a really good sense of perspective, and it just looks awesome if it's kept healthy and trimmed. I've also got in the back there some Myriophyllum, but that's kind of been taken over a bit by the Hemianthus. And I've also got some, right in this back corner, some Pygostemon erectus, just to sort of change up the textures a little bit, which looks really nice. And it looks great from above as well, because obviously in the open top tank, you're viewing it from the top as well. And I think adding some textures into the planting that you enjoy from the top, not just from the front, it's quite important. Something to think about when you're choosing your plants. Okay, so I think that's all the plants. I've kept it quite simple. With this scape, I didn't want to have like a crazy jungle of plants. I wanted separate planted areas, but nice transitions between the plants, and also keeping a natural feel without going too crazy on the jungle kind of feel. Okay, so that's the plants. So fish-wise, if we can just look through the glass here that's got a bit of algae on it, we've got black neon tetras, and we've got rummy nose tetras. So most of the fish in here were donated by a customer of mine who was closing his tank down, and he had these beautiful healthy fish that he wanted to rehome. So yeah, I gave him a home in here. I think they're pretty happy. We've also got lots of shrimp. He says, I can't even see one now. They're normally hanging around down here, but there's lots of Amano shrimp here, in here, some cherry shrimp. We've also got some, oh there's an Amano shrimp doing his job. He's eating, looks like he's eating an old shed of another Amano shrimp, or maybe his own. Oh, here we go, we've got a little Nanocara cichlid. Can't remember off the top of my head the exact name of him, but they're beautiful. I think I've got like 3 of them in here. Nice little characters dart in and out of the vegetation. So yeah, the fish are amazing in this scape. And they just hang around in this open area, which is perfect. Okay, so now it's time to crack on with the maintenance. First thing I'm going to do, turn off the filter, turn off the heater, and then I'm going to clean the glass. I'm going to use a Denale Cleanator sponge. Amazing little sponge. They get everything off the glass and they don't scratch your glass as well. Yeah, I'll use one of those just to clean through the glass. I'll get rid of the calcium, I'll get rid of the algae. Yeah, and then we'll clean the filter out. So we'll remove that pre-filter, give the sponges in there a good squeeze out and a good rinse, and then we'll crack on with trimming the plants. So a little tip that I've found sometimes helpful, if you look at the aquarium from the side along the pane of the glass, it's often easier to spot any little bits of algae that you might have missed when cleaning. It's really frustrating when you've done all your maintenance and you see some spots of algae that you've missed. So yeah, have a little look down sort of the length of the glass from the side and you should be able to spot any bits that you've missed. Okay, so now it's time for trimming. So it's always a really good idea to get yourself a decent pair of aquascaping scissors. They just make life a lot easier. The curved ones I find are really nice. You can get all different sizes and shapes, but yeah, definitely get yourself a pair of aquascaping scissors. These ones are just ISTA curved scissors. So I'm going to start trimming at the front. This Monte Carlo doesn't really need much of a trim because I trimmed it, I think even just last week. I'm just going to take the front of it down a little bit so it just sort of slopes nicely to the front. Maybe take a little bit off the back, but it doesn't really need much doing at all. Right, there we go, that's the Monte Carlo. I try and aim for a nice straight line. at the front, just so it's nice and neat. It doesn't have to be, I mean it just looks a bit more visually appealing. So now I'm going to move on to the Hygrophila pinnata feeder. I'm just going to trim back, like I said earlier, some of those larger stems, just to keep the leaves nice and small. Obviously it's fairly high maintenance doing it like this, but I think if you just do it once a week, set aside a good hour and of your time on maybe a Sunday morning or whatever, just to slowly do your aquarium, make it look pretty, and then for the rest of the week you can enjoy it. But to set aside that amount of time and know that you're going to spend that amount of time in it, and it's really soothing. So yeah, just take your time and enjoy the process. Okay, there we go, that's the Monte Carlo and the Hygrophila done. Now it's time to tackle that bush of Hemianthus micranthomoides. I'll try and get a better camera angle, but I think this might be the best one actually. Yeah, we'll go from here. I'll try and get you some close-ups. So the basic shape we're going for is sort of low at the front, domes towards the back, and also side to side as well, so you've got almost like, if you could lift it up it would be a sphere. So we're going for that sort of nice curved dome, and that gives a really good sense of perspective down the tank. Okay, so yeah, I'm quite happy with that shape. There's a few little lumpy bumpy bits there, which I might try and sort out, but it doesn't need to be perfect. And in like 2 or 3 days, once the growth starts coming through, it'll all sort of smooth out anyway. So now I'm just going to net out some of the floating bits that I've trimmed off, and yeah, and then I'll tackle the top of that side, and then we'll move on to the other side. Okay, so there we go. That's most of the trimming done. Obviously there's loads of little bits of tiny bits of plant floating around. I've netted off the worst of it, but that will all gradually float to the surface, well most of it, and we'll net it out as we go, sort of a bit whilst doing the water change, and just get the worst of it right at the end. The next thing to do is the water change. So I'm just going to use a length of hose as a siphon, and I'm just going to go around. First things first, I'm just going to siphon off these bits of soil, aquarium soil that's just fallen down onto this sand, and if need be I'll just put a bit more sand back in there just to fill the gap. Yeah, and as I go around I'm going to be siphoning, waving the siphon over the Monte Carlo and around the plants, just to lift up any dirt, detritus, fish poo, that sort of stuff that's in there. Just helps keep the whole system nice and clean, and that helps keep it algae free and healthy. So let's do that. Alright, so yeah, I think that's about it for the water change. So probably 40%, something like that. You could go 50, 60%. Nice, mature, stable system, no algae problems, lean dosing, so 40% plenty for this one. So yeah, now I'm going to fill it up. So this one I use a mixture of RO water and tap water, about 50-50. The main reason I do that is just to stop the build up of calcium around the top, but also it's a bit nicer for the fish. It has slightly softer water, and also I think it helps the plants as well. But there's no reason you couldn't have a flourishing system like this just using tap water. So yeah, let's get it filled. There we go, now it's filled right to the top. I can see that the plants at the top need a bit more trimming just to create. Alright, now it's filled right to the top. I can see the top of the plants here need a bit more trimming, levelling out and shaping. So I've got the aquascaping scissors back out, and I'm just going to do some finishing touches on the trimming. Alright, I think I'm pretty much done on the trimming, although I might see a little bit as I do some more netting out of the trimmed plants. So yeah, let's finish off netting them out, and then we can turn the filter back on. Okay, so we're pretty much there. Sometimes when I'm doing maintenance I knock this bit of wood and it's not really that stable, so it kind of bobs around a bit, and some of the epiphytes like Anubias and boost sometimes comes free. So I'm just going to pop them back in, get it all into position, and then it's just a case of cleaning the glass. I'll show you my technique of cleaning the front of the glass as well. Okay, so there are many ways of cleaning the front of the glass obviously, but the one I like to use, I have a spray bottle with RO water in it, so it's pure water. So if you do, when you spray it on and clean it, there's going to be no calcium or minerals or anything left on the glass, so it's completely sort of smear free. I know window cleaners use it and stuff like that, so I just spray a bit on, get a bit of, I use this blue tissue, you can use like a lint free cloth or something, and just give it a nice polish up. Wax on, wax off. Sorry fish, don't mean to scare you. And there we go, beautiful crystal clear glass, a freshly water changed tank. So there are a few little floaty bits still bobbing around, but they'll get picked up by the filter. If you're really sort of diligent and you want it to keep it perfectly clean, you could maybe tomorrow clean out that pre-filter again, just to get rid of all those little tiny bits of cuttings that weren't picked up with the net. But you should be alright next week when you clean out your pre-filter again. It's all going to be in there and you can get rid of it. So yeah, there we go, and I'll just do a few more shots of the finished tank. so there we go guys, thanks very much for watching the video. Hopefully I'll make a more regular thing now of making the YouTube videos, but obviously really busy, but that's great. I just wanted to do a separate thank you. It's coming up to the 1st of June, which will be the 2nd year anniversary of Riverwood Aquatics opening. It's crazy, it's been 2 years already, I can't believe it. Just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's shopped here, visited the website, liked all our posts on social media, Instagram, Facebook, made comments, said such lovely things. So yeah, thank you so much, and yeah, here's to the next however many years. Cheers.